Hello everyone, welcome back for another guitar review. And today's guitar is a Silver Sky. So going a little bit different direction, but something that's very closely related to the last few strats that I've been talking about. The John Mayer PRS Silver Sky, or I should say the John Mayer model, by Paul Reed Smith Guitars. This is actually a quite special, at least to me, version of the Silver Sky. This is one of the first 500 that were ever released with the hard shell case. So this has the serial number starting with 18. 2018 was the year of its production line release. I've owned a lot of Silver Skies. I've owned prototypes, I've owned production models, I've owned all the way up to, I think, only 2019 models. I've never tried a 2020 or beyond. Actually, I take that back. I've tried a 2020, but not a 2021, which I actually will be getting soon. I'll get a Roxy Pink I have on order. But this is actually a special color, tungsten, one of the original colors, because it was the first color that was ever unveiled. And that was via John's Instagram account when he first started playing these live on the Search for Everything tour. That started back in, I think that album was released in 2017, so 2018 was the actual production model. Released back in 2017, there's pictures surfacing on Instagram where the caption, I believe, was, "It has been unveiled." I remember looking at that picture and being just enamored with this guitar, knowing what they were going for, knowing that it was this triple single coil guitar, that it was modeled after vintage Stratocasters, but it definitely had its own vibe and its own thing, and I think it lives up to having its own name, right? It's not just a Stratocaster. I think what they did with the neck, what they've done with the pickups, the headstock, it's in many ways its own thing, and it feels like its own thing, it sounds like its own thing, but you can definitely hear that new sound on Sob Rock, I think. Anyway, kind of diving into it, just if you're familiar with Silver Skies, a few things that are going to be different. One's the pickups. They've modified the pickups year after year now, not changing the model of pickups. They're still called and I have a little bit of dyslexia, so I have to PRS 635JM. Pickups. So they're the same model, but they have changed them. From my understanding, they're now lower output, more mid-scoop. They sound a little bit more like the black one. But for this guitar, for the Silver Sky, Paul Reed Smith retooled everything. They started from scratch. But they did use John's 64 Strat as a reference, I believe, if not other vintage guitars as well, especially on the neck, to get the contour right. But what I guess let's kind of dive in. As far as Silver Skies go, the biggest difference that you'd find between a 2021 and this 2018 launch model would be the pickups. Pickups are going to sound different. You can tell these are really hot pickups. They're really, really icy pickups. A lot of high end with them. And they kind of modify that over the years. And I think for good reason. I gave up my prototype for the Roxy. And I think that I'll be happier with the actual sound of the pickups. So looking forward to that. The birds in the fretboard are smaller than typical PRS, so those are the small birds. Alder body, it's got a maple neck with the rosewood fretboard. They went with the reverse headstock, so this is actually a Paul Reed Smith headstock that's been reversed, but also elongated. John's got notoriously large hands, especially his thumb. And so just to make it comfortable, it's elongated but also a reversed headstock from the typical Paul Reed Smith guitars. Now, when I sit down and I play this, one thing I forgot to mention about the paint. So tungsten, the silver color. Cool thing they did with the first run is that they actually painted on the inside here white. And so it kind of looks like it's just a reflection, but it's actually white on the horn, which is really, really cool. You get up close, it's really quite a beautiful finish. other thing about the PRSs, or the Silver Skies, is that they went and they didn't drill holes for the back cavity, just like his John Mayer Stratocasters. One thing that I was a little, I guess I came around on it, I didn't like it so much right away, is that it did have kind of more of a rounded heel and a rounded back plate, but it's actually quite a comfortable guitar to play. So as far as positives, I think the neck contour is great. They really nailed it. It feels like a vintage instrument. I think that the new pickups, if you were to, pick up a new Silver Sky, you'd be probably happier. These, I have had feedback issues that I don't typically have with like my Strats with these pickups, just because they're a little bit hotter output. So with the modifications that they made, I think nowadays you get a Silver Sky and you're getting probably, I don't want to say a better guitar, but you're getting something that's a little bit more fine-tuned. The one thing that I go back and forth on, do I like it, do I not, is the radius of the guitar. So literally how curved is the fretboard, right? And so this is a very, very curved fretboard at 7¼ radius. And with that, if you're doing like bend and a half, so so that I've noticed some, if they're not properly set up, they'll fret out. But I have to say, a lot of people give them a hard time for, if you're up in the upper register and you're bending, for fretting out, so you lose the tone. But they actually, if it's properly set up, do a nice job of maintaining the tone. I have had a few though that struggle to a little bit. My prototype, I think, struggled to maintain the tones a little bit. I get a little bit of a buzz even with a proper setup. So it does feel like the note maybe gets choked a little bit more than maybe on a Strat. A Strat has like a 9½ radius. So with that, I think maybe if you really like those high bend and a halves in the upper register, maybe a Strat would be the way to go. But I have to say they're really their own thing. If you have the finances, I would get both of them, both a Strat and a Silver Sky, to juxtapose them. But it's an incredibly fun guitar to play. If I had to, rank my guitars, if I had to give up a guitar, I'd keep my Strats over this. But I'm really looking forward to the Roxy, because I think with that I'll get the pickups I really want and the sound that I really want, and hopefully not as many feedback issues. And the feedback could be user error as well. It could just be me, but definitely seems to be more of something I have to be cognizant of with this guitar, this 2018 Silver Sky. But as I've said, nowadays it seems like those pickups, they've modified them in a way to improve them. So this is the 2018 Silver Sky. It's a great guitar. Love it. It's gonna stay back in the case. It's gonna be mint, hopefully, and I'm just kind of using this as a collector's guitar rather than an actual player's guitar. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for streaming the EP. Hit me up in the comments with any questions on it. It'd be, so much fun to answer and talk about it. So thank you very much. Take care.